Here we go. All right.
Oh,
How are
yeah.
you?
No, no. Uh, it was a normal day, but I'm very, very tired.
Okay.
At the way home, I thought in my car, or maybe I take a stop because I didn't feel that I can drive securely. So,
All right. Yeah. But I also had to take like a nap like around, I don't know, 4, I think. So yeah, there's a big full moon tomorrow, so maybe it's not abnormal. And there's like been a lot shifting also. So
yeah,
can
okay.
be that
What's
you're
tomorrow?
a full moon in the
Full moon.
morning. Yeah. And with so many things shifting, then that like just makes it yeah, then because it all needs to release, it comes up and it just asks a lot of energy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm.
Uh, well, it's only this.
All right.
Uh, yeah.
So
I'm.
to
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
survive. I survive. So
yeah.
okay.
So I think today will not be such a long class. I think we'll see. Um,
Yeah. Let's see what you
I
prepared.
just today I kind of wanted to touch upon a few things that will help us integrate the whole thing that we've done up so far. And that's like decision making and application and turning it into a way of living. Um, because, it's all good and well and it's theory and it's some exercises, and you can sit there for some time every day doing fascia movement and so on. But if that's all it is, it might help function. It might help certain people function better for sure. But I hope that you will be able to get more out of it and make it really all of it a part of your life and start implementing it like a natural thing so that it starts to replace some of these nasty habits that we might be having or some of these destructive patterns that we might be having.
Hmm.
So how do we do that? Well, we kind of already know the answer for that, and that is to create space. But that goes for every level. That goes mentally, emotionally, and physically. And it doesn't need to be a big thing. It can just be a little pause and like, what am I doing? What
Hmm.
am I thinking? What am I feeling? And just not this, you know, just stopping the rat race for a little bit, just stopping the automatic, like all the things that just go automatic and go, 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 and the next and the next.
Yeah.
And just stop, slow down, take a pause, and just create that little bit of a break. And then ask yourself these questions and question, whatever reaction you're having. Like, who is doing this? What
Hmm.
part of me is doing this? And you don't need to know any details even at that point. You can just like see and go like, well, I'm not really sure what's going on, but it sure as hell isn't the way that I wish I would be reacting.
Hmm.
It definitely feels like a rebellious teenager kind of energy, or a child that is having a tantrum, and not like an adult that is in control of their life. And that's enough. Just like, okay, I am recognizing this is probably something from the background that is running the show, or there is some like probably some belief being triggered. And the more you do it, the more easily you will start to recognize it. So it becomes about like, what am I recognizing? And it doesn't need to be super detailed. It can just be like basic.
Hmm.
I am running on subconscious patterns, or I am doing something consciously. Like, that can be just, that can be enough. That is that break. That
Mm,
is that little bit of space that we need to stop the automation, basically.
good.
And then you can look at what have we learned in this course that I can now implement instead of following the old pattern. And then you decide to choose what you're going to do. Are you going to follow the old pattern? Are you going to choose something new? Which choice are you going to make? What new thing are you going to choose or whatnot? And I don't think we actually covered decision making specifically, because this is one of these other things that people struggle with a lot, because so many negative beliefs are attached to them, which then
Mm,
again starts to squish that space again
mm,
and makes it harder to stay in conscious mode, let's say, because we have
mm,
so much attached to making decisions, because we have to be perfect. We can't make any mistakes. So much fear about what if I make the wrong choice and all of those things. Okay. But the fact is, decision making, just like attention, just like holding space in your body, it is a muscle that you need to train. It is an ability that you need to practice to get better at. And getting better at it will also start to diffuse a lot of these negative associations. But the reality is, well, we know perfection um, is the lowest standard. It is not realistic. It comes from trying to please parents and so on. And there are very few decisions that you cannot reverse. Because we always make it super final in our mind, and we make it like the end of the world if it would be the wrong one. And a lot of that then is attached to those few circumstances that have happened to us, or maybe even not to us, but we've heard about them. Like, oh, he decided to go do that and get in the car and he died in a car crash. So now I am scared to make the wrong decision, because what if I get in the car and I get in a car crash? But you get in the car all the time, every day. And so we cannot use faith as an excuse for making decisions. Because
mm,
if that person hadn't died in that car crash, he would have died in another way, or the next day when he got in the car.
mm,
Um, like, things happen. So try to not let that stop you. Try to see through that. And also, by making decisions, we actually learn what is the right decision.
mm,
Because by making mistakes, that's where our biggest growth is, right? So that's also true with making a wrong decision. You'll probably never make that wrong decision ever again. And even sometimes, you cannot even know what the right decision is until you have made it. But that
mm,
means that you have to make a decision, and that means you might make the wrong decision. And Tony Robbins has this very compelling story that he always tells people. And that's like, well, he knew this military general, four-star guy in America, who had to make, I don't know, some decision about some war plan, super crazy, super high pressure, like the thing that millions of people's of lives like depend on.
mm,
And they had been going for months, maybe years, and there were like two camps, and there was like, no, we should have this strategy, and there was another camp that says like, no, we should have this strategy. And both had good arguments and so on and so on. And the guy that Tony knew, he basically was his assistant at the time, like he and it was his job to go through the arguments for each side and advise the general like which one was the best. But then for some reason, like the meeting got moved up and he wasn't finished, and they were there and they were like pleading their cases and pleading their cases. And at some point, this general says, like, well, okay, I'm gonna choose plan A. And everybody's like, okay.
Mm.
Like general has spoken, we have to go with plan A. They all leave, and the assistant is like cleaning up and whatever, and he says, like, general, permission to speak, because you cannot just speak to like a general. He's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, how did you know it was the right decision? He says, I didn't, but we have been going over this for months, and a decision needs to be made. And if it's the wrong decision, we'll know it's the wrong decision very soon. And then we can go
I
to the
know.
other decision.
I actually know the story. It's very
Yeah.
famous. Yeah, it's a good story. Yeah.
So just to demonstrate once again how so often we are kidding ourselves that if you don't know which way to go, you can always turn the other way as soon as you realize it was the wrong way. So try to not let that stop you. Try to keep telling yourself and your inner children over and over again that mistakes is what makes us grow. That's how we learn. That's how we become stronger. Because that will start to take hold over the ideas that we were given when we were younger. And teach them that we are here to experience and to evolve because of these experiences, And experiences are good and bad. It's the only reason we are here as people. It is to experience the universe from this particular perspective. And that is your part. That's why you're here. And just constantly playing it safe and constantly being afraid to make any mistakes or to make any decision or for whatever consequences there are is inhibiting you from living the purpose that you're here for. Of course, that does not mean go absolutely bonkers crazy and do not think about anything. It is about training yourself into a new habit, and that is making self-loving decisions. Doing things in a self-loving way, dealing with things in a self-loving way. And you probably already heard me saying, but self-loving doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It means being a responsible adult parent to yourself. Freedom does not even mean doing what you want. We think, most of the people think that, what's freedom? Oh, now I can do whatever I want. Oh, now I have all the money in the world, so now I can do whatever I want. I'm free. No, freedom is actually the result of self-love. Because when you're doing what you want, all you're actually doing is living your subconscious patterns. And whatever impulse that gives you, no matter how screwed up that place is where that's coming from, that's what we feel that we want. That's what we believe that we want. So learning to choose what you need instead of what you want is the self-loving thing. In order to do that, that is what I call being a responsible adult and parent to yourself. And that does not mean that you can't have fun or that you can't let go or that you can't have like this, I don't know, night of binging or like whatever, night of being irresponsible or just like going and having fun and not having to care about things for a while. It doesn't mean that, because a loving and responsible parent to a child or to a teenager, even, they know you can't lock them in their room and think they're going to become a healthy human being as an adult. They need to experience the world. They need to go to a party every once in a while. They need to be able to have some fun. They need to go and eat junk food every once in a while or whatever, or they will resent you, or they will be scared of the world, or they will not want to eat healthy ever again when they leave the house because they could never have any junk food. And so it is all part of it, but just it's like figuring out what is right for you when, and what is the right dosage for you when. And that is also actually what eventually will start creating a win-win. Because as long as we're going from this perspective of what I want, that means that we're coming from this very egotistical place where there's like very hurt little children who are like fighting all amongst each other because they couldn't get enough attention. So they are coming from this perspective where it's like it's either you or me, but we can't have both because there clearly isn't enough to go around. So as long as we're coming from that place, we can't really do win-win. So being a responsible adult to yourself, starting to really go see for what we need and to take really care of ourselves, and go through the process and deal with the things that show up, so that we peel off like layer after layer after layer. And it might be a lifelong process. That's also not the problem. That's not the point. It's not about reaching an end. It's about walking that road. It's this constant evolution. And evolution doesn't even end with that. If anything, death is like super transformation. It's like one of the reasons like mortality exists here is because without mortality, we wouldn't really evolve, because we'd be like, oh, we have time. Now we have this thing like there is an end, so we have to kind of keep on moving. So it is actually a catalyst for that evolution, because that is our purpose here, to actually evolve. And not with like an end goal in mind. It literally is for the experience of it. I don't know if I told it in the 8 weeks here, but it's something I used to say quite literal. Like the creation of the universe basically was like one consciousness that was kind of like, imagine like being a little creature inside of a huge library. And that whole library is filled with all kinds of books. And so you're reading about amazing love stories. You're seeing pictures of the most amazing recipes in the world. But you've never eaten any food. You've never even met another person to have a love story with. So the universe was created out of the expression of wanting to actually experience, what you were reading in these books. So much of how we live and so much of our perspective is not coming from that place, because all it's coming from that programming, from all of these hurt parts that are not really in that capacity, and that are just in this survival mechanism inside of ourselves. So now you have all the tools to interfere in that survival mechanism and start to shift it, and start to shift things for yourself more in alignment with that natural evolution, with that natural cosmic order, basically, that we are part of. It's about starting to choose goals that are aligned with that. With, choosing for how you were designed to come here. It's not all by accident. And there is, there is something like karma, and once your incarnation starts, things kind of, how do you say, trickle into each other. But even that has a kind of a cosmic order to it, because it has natural ways to work itself out, basically. But that's in essence what you signed up for. At some point, you signed up for this trip. And so that is what you actually need. And that's the difference between what you want and what you need. So the more that you
Yeah,
can evolve
yeah.
yourself.
I was so very often at cross points in my life where I had to do decisions, and later found out it was a horrible, bad decision. So, and then I was desperate and saying to me, "Oh, so now, no, how to learn what's a real good decision? So I don't want to make bad decisions anymore because I did
Yeah.
it so often. I did
Well,
it really often. So because many people don't have good cards in the life, I had it, and I gave away so good opportunities, and this is really
yeah. And at the same time, you know, I have very similar things.
mm,
So even for me to teach this and to say this, it's like I understand um kind of what you're saying, because for me there were like some mistakes were made that I didn't even have any say in or choice over, that held me back,
mm,
that probably like shifted my life tremendously. Also opportunities that I could have had, and like if I look from where I am now and look and think, oh, I could have made it so much easier if I had pushed my parents to actually go look at that test, and then I could have skipped the last year of kindergarten. Or, oh, what if I hadn't chosen to skip a year ahead and actually chosen to like focus on being more like human and not so headstrong? And or what if I would have chosen not to go for veterinarian but just go for physiotherapy, because then I would have no problem finding a job, and I wouldn't have to
mm,
like, I could choose to create my own business without any pressure, and I could find a job anywhere because I have this diploma. And I didn't make any of these decisions either. But then, realistically speaking, I would not be here teaching what I am teaching if I had done any of those things.
mm. Yeah, yeah.
So,
I would have learned all what I've learned about trauma and T1 and so on if I hadn't this urge and this hardship I went through. So,
yeah.
mm.
And so,
Um, I want to add something because
mm-hmm,
it's such a good fit. It's something Peter posted here on Facebook
mm-hmm,
in your group.
mm-hmm,
It's on because we are talking about decisions, and it's about choices, and the
mm-hmm,
word is in it. And authenticity isn't how well you act; it's how you align with who you truly are. It
mm-hmm,
begins the moment your choices start matching the need of your unique essence.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. Is it your Peter or is it another Peter?
No, no, that's my Peter.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He helps me run the group.
Good, good, good. I just
Yeah,
want to know. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I know it's not a
But how
small
to
task.
find out when is the decision matching to your unique essence and when is it the programming? So I was really bad in figuring out what is what.
Yeah, but now you have the tools to create more of that space to figure out what is what.
Hmm.
Also, when it comes to decision making, you might want to check your human design, because it is one of those things that are, because human design is very complicated and I don't claim to be able to teach it, and I can't even properly explain it probably. But one of the basics where they say, well, you want to look at your strategy. If nothing else, just look at your strategy, start to understand like where your power is coming from, like what your, it's not
Yeah.
even sign, but your type is, and what your strategy is. Because that strategy basically tells you how to make decisions.
Uh-huh.
And for me, I am a sacral generator. So for me, basically, I immediately should listen to my gut, to like a deep gut feeling that says either yes, no, or maybe. But if it's no or maybe, I shouldn't listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Only if it's very clear yes. But then again, I am happy that you say this before about like how do I know it's coming from my essence or if it's just like this reaction inside of myself. But now that we have kind of, you know, like I said, if once we have enough space, we can, it's something you also have to start, like, you know, that's why I call it a muscle. That's why like it's practice, to start unraveling that and to start learning to recognize where it's coming from. And then start practicing making the decisions. But it can be helpful because, you know, some other people, they are like emotional authorities, strategies, and they need to take a long time before making a decision because they need to feel through the entire emotional spectrum.
Yeah.
So that might, you know, give you a sense of what should I do, because now I go like, okay, I have to like, what's my instinct, what do I feel, yes, no, maybe, okay, and then where is it coming from? Is it actually this gut feeling or is it a panic reaction?
Yeah.
If you know that you're like an emotional person, then you're like, okay, right now I feel like this, I should wait a few days and see how I feel then. In the meantime, I have time to analyze where these feelings are coming from.
Good.
It's just a little different strategy that might be helpful, because that's the number one anyone will ever like say in human design. Like that's kind of, if you don't do anything
Yeah,
else, just
so
do that and it will like help you
I
get
was
into alignment a lot.
yeah. Luckily, I have the WhatsApp chat with my mother where I asked for my.
Yeah.
I forgot it. What was it? Half
That's
past eight? I don't know.
yeah, but yeah, that can help you a little
I
bit.
have to scroll up a long time, so maybe I find it.
That's
But
okay.
you didn't note it, yeah?
I would have to check, but then I also would have to go through your entire chat, which is probably also
No.
quite a scroll.
I try to find it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's like a search function in there or something in it per chat.
Maybe. I found out.
But yeah, this just to, I didn't want to like bring too much new stuff in here today because most of it, you know, you have it now. It's all about practicing it. It's all about implementing it. I just wanted to give these, you know, tips and little handles that you kind of can use to maneuver yourself through all of these different things that we've been through, and how to switch between one and another, and you know, like the decision making and then the application of actually doing it, and again the bigger understanding of our evolution, what self-loving actually is, why it's so important, just to have that reminder of constantly wanting to do what we want. All of these things, they're not coming from our essence, they're coming from our trauma. That's actually what we kind of want to resolve so that we can move much more into direction of what we need And that's the parenting job, basically, to move us from being that very needy child that is throwing tantrums all the time, and moving into like somebody who can take charge of their life and give the direction to their life that they want to lead from their essence, which is basically what we need.
Mm. Mm.
And that is, you know, if we can start to function from that place, that's when we can start creating win-wins, because that's the pattern that's actually behind it. That's, you know, when you tap into the natural order of things, and trees, they don't go like, ha, pay me for my oxygen. They just go like, it's a win-win.
Mm.
So that will bring us, you know, closer to that system, and that's then what actually will start creating safety on a global scale. But for that, we first have to start creating that safety in our body and in our emotional body and in our own mental space. But again, self-loving, no pressure. We're all very fucked up at this point. So we just keep taking it one step at a time. And just like if you have a baby, it's not going to be an adult tomorrow. It's going to take 18 years of nurturing. And even who can say somebody at 18 is actually an adult? So,
Mm.
and even, you know, even if that takes you to the end of your life, it will probably take us to the end of our lives for all of us. But like death is not the end, it's just a transformation, and there will be other lives of other incarnations, or whatever comes next will be influenced by what you do in this life and what you choose in this life. And we have free will, so we can choose with our free will to make this evolution consciously, or just allow things to happen. That's all of our prerogatives. But since you've been here, and you guys been here for 8 weeks by now, I am assuming that you're here because you would like to do it a little bit more consciously, so that you have more impact on your own life, and you can give more direction in your own life to create something that actually matches who you actually are supposed to be, instead of just being driven by these patterns that we've inherited and were dumped upon us.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
I
sounds
don't
very...
go ahead, sorry.
No. I just say it sounds very good. Yeah, that's would be great if, yeah. But I'm not there. But it would be. It sounds good.
Yeah, but
I know actually people who live like this, and I was like, how are they doing this? So, yeah. Mm.
well, the first thing they do is they decided to start doing that. And then you just keep taking one step and another step and another step, and making another decision that leads in that direction, and doing something else that leads in that direction, and not let yourself get distracted by all of the things that aren't the way you want them to be yet. And again, we like to see from other people how perfect or what they get right. And we do not see so much of what we don't get right, or what other people don't get right. And for ourselves, we tend to see all the things that aren't working, and pay not so much attention to what is working, or how much progress we actually made. So
Oh
try
yes,
to keep your
because
focus on
now
there.
when yeah, let's go. No, just a moment. I spin something. So I was very much looking up to all of my fellow school college. Yeah, I always felt much less than them. Yeah, they were much cooler and funnier and so on, smarter. And even 10 years or 20 years later, when I met them, I never, I, 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 I kept it short, because they had careers, they had success, they were married, they built a house, and I had nothing, and then I barely survived, and I never had a job longer than 2 years. Let's be honest, yeah. So, but now sometimes I meet them. Yeah, sometimes they are divorced 2 times and so on, but they I just can't talk with them because they're talking shit. It's like you turn on the TV and hear all this propaganda, yeah.
Mhm.
And see, okay, they made their way through life, but they are not thinkers. They don't think for themselves. So, and many of them. So, also,
Yeah.
especially after COVID, yeah, I think,
Mhm.
how can this be true? And me, who was always seeing the world from the bottom up, yeah. So, what are
Mhm.
they? They are not gods anymore. So, at
Mm.
all. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually had this very interesting discussion like the other day. So like everything in the world that is deemed as being successful is so incredibly toxic
Yes.
and disgusting, basically,
Yeah.
because we were like looking at the music industry and everything that's going on there, and it
I
was like,
told you.
well, like before even like then Hollywood, and like that's what everybody looks up to, that's what everybody wants to be. Everyone wants to be the pop star, wants to be the movie star. But now we all know what's happening in there. And then like, oh, what else would you have to be? Like a lawyer? Yeah, well, that's basically like the most, like one of the most disgusting um
Yeah, but even now,
jobs.
for example, then if you mention this or this or this person, then you get kicked out of a group because they had met with a conservative, yeah, and these are people you don't talk to in Germany, and or you read this book, but this is from this distributor, and he also had this book, and you don't touch this, and so the people are so carved
Mhm.
in a way of thinking by
Yeah.
propaganda, where I think, um, are you stupid? Also, you really?
Mhm.
So this is so disgusting to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, this yeah, I could better explain German, but it's
No, but I fully get what you're saying, and that's
ah,
definitely one thing. People are really brainwashed. Like today, they're
brainwashed.
like
Yeah, so brainwashed.
there have been like these riots and
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
America now, and it's just gonna keep getting on worse. But yeah, it is like it is just like this place where everybody's at, and like still a lot of people are under this
Yeah,
brainwash.
but
Like,
especially in Germany, if you do any critics to the mainstream, yeah, then
mhm,
you get put in a drawer of being here. What's it, far right, and far right is Nazi. Yeah,
mhm.
so in
That's the
America at
funny
least,
thing, because Nazis were left.
yeah, I know. But in at least in America, far right is acceptable. Yeah, so you're
Mhm,
conservative, but in Germany, you're not a conservative. You are an extremist, but you're just not mainstream. Yeah,
mhm.
and this is what's really really crazy. For example, incel. You know what an incel is? It's
Incel?
yeah, it means involuntary celibate. Also people, yeah,
Okay.
men who uh, can't get a woman. So
Uh-huh.
so to
Okay.
say, yeah. So and they, for example, get counted to the far right extremists because in many of them they think that foreigners take the woman they have a right to. Okay, maybe some of them think like this, but that's now a label for the whole group. So they are also in this spectrum.
Yeah.
So now you see how crazy it is. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
get a
but
label,
I know
and
how
then
crazy it is,
and
and
if you get and everything gets labeled Nazi, and you have to if you want to play uh, play well in this society, you have to be actually far left. So it's a left
yeah,
society.
and that's the whole pro. Like that's the whole thing. If you're just common sense these days, you're right.
Yeah. Yes.
because the
Yeah, and
left has gone so far out of common sense or out of any
but they
logic or
don't
out of any.
they don't divide between right and right extremist. An
Mm,
extremist wants to destroy every order, but a right person just wants to get back to right and order.
yeah.
And this is so it's all turned up to the whole head to toe, head. It's so crazy.
Mhm.
Well, how did we get here? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah,
trying to say
it's
about
about decisions.
the standards that we grew up with in our society when we were children. It was like, oh, become a lawyer, that's a good job. But then
Yeah,
I wanted to say, like, lawyers, sometimes you can defend somebody who needs defending, but most of the time you're actually like pulling
I know.
very shitty backward stuff. And then there was like,
Oh, John,
become the
take it.
star,
Think
become this, or then was it used to be like become the doctor, and that's what we used to think, like, oh yeah, well, the doctor is the good guy, and then you look at
no,
COVID and then you go
no.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's a pharma distributor, or think of a journalist.
Yeah,
Usually, we think a journalist is criticizing the
yeah,
government and creating
yeah.
knowledge. And no. Now they are
They're
like
their propaganda also.
in Stalin Russia, just
Yeah,
propaganda. So it's really, yeah. If you want to live authentically, it's a real big challenge these days. But it's a
yeah,
must.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
are only few.
Look,
There are
and
really only a few.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So we really, that's why we're hoping that we will be able to create this place where some of us can live then and not
Have you
be
seen
bothered by
Keith's
that.
latest video? Have
I
you seen?
haven't, like, it's been a super crazy couple of days, so I actually haven't done anything because I was supposed to even do like
Because
something
she
yesterday.
said it was about COVID, and she said now it seems to be back to
Oh
normal, but
yeah,
nothing is back to normal now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she explained a lot of things. And she said a lot of people just gave up because they felt an apathy because
Mhm.
they. Mm, uh,
Yeah, I
what,
saw that was the video, but like I haven't been able to watch
why
anything
try
you said
when
or.
yeah, and so on. And yeah, I can really good relate to
Hmm.
what she said. Yeah, okay. Mm. Yeah, you can see it all sounds not very positive what I'm saying, and she's mirroring that in that video. She says, "This is the state we all are now." So all this insecurity is making people apathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, and even I have to, like, because there's so much effort, this energy going on now, like to not go in the fear mode and not to go like, oh, the war is coming, because the war is coming. It's just the reality. Um, by next year we'll probably be at war now.
Mm.
With probably with Russia, from what I gather. I'm not sure how because like in America, like all the predictions I'm hearing is some kind of a civil war. And that's kind of what it's starting to look now like, because it's like they're doing like the deportation, which is like federal government issued, but then the authorities in California refused to help. So then they had to send like federal troops in to help, and then like that's how the riots got started, basically. So either it's going to be federal government against states, or but then also there's like the cartels problem they have in but it is like in essence it's coming from the immigration problem, which you have also like
Oh yeah,
talked about a lot over there. And
it's much
um
worse much worse in Germany.
yeah, and
Much
so yeah, either
because in
it's going to
see
be that, or it's
uh,
going to be Russia and the NATO, which is going to be next
yeah,
year
but
something.
if Russia is attacking Europe, then we have nothing to stand against them. So in Germany, there's actually no military. We have
Mhm.
40 tanks. That's all. So and we have no ammunition. So there's nothing to fight, and no
Yeah,
one to fight. So
yeah,
it's soon over. So
yeah.
and I read a comment once, and I said maybe it's even a good thing to be governed by Putin. It's better than under
Yeah,
these politicians we have
I
here.
have like
So
exactly
really,
the same
really,
thing, I guess. Like, what does it matter, one clown or
yeah,
another?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I'm not afraid of it. Really not.
no, me neither. But that I just have to keep, keep reminding myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you
Uh,
would like some more explanation on that I could give you today that you feel like you might be missing or might not have understood fully? Or
no. It's really really good. I have the recordings. So sometimes I just fell in my
yeah,
patterns
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
oh, what did she say there or that? Oh,
yeah,
in the journey it was 4 months, but now I have the recordings. So
yeah.
and unbelievable that it's 1 year ago now. Then
Hmm.
that we met first. Ooh,
Okay.
time is really running out. So
Yeah. How is the sales going?
yeah, I really just started. Yeah. No. I'm not selling because it needs, even if you have four or let's say 10 items. Yeah,
Yeah.
the people have to get used to you as
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
but
what all salesmen say to you. You can't start from scratch and expect something in the first weeks. So it takes
okay.
6 months. 6 months.
Okay.
So that's normal. That's really normal.
Okay.
Mhm. Even when you put effort in it, but I'm not putting much effort in it. But see, I organize very much here now. So and
Yeah.
no, that's an important step. So now I have room to move because I
Hmm.
couldn't just move, and I couldn't. I just didn't want to start because you know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
step.
But
But
I
now you
get it. I'm just asking
see see now,
because
yeah,
even I,
it looks like a construction place, but it's really.
yeah.
I bring this card boxes I get out, and then I
Hmm.
have space here, and then I can do
Okay.
something. It
Cool.
really it takes shape. It takes shape, and
That's
that
good. That's good.
and then I can make photos and so on. Because when
Hmm.
want to make photos, I need uh,
Yeah.
need
Good.
space. So, and I need space physically and emotionally, and also here in my room. So hmm, yeah.
Good.
So
Good. Good.
because you asked, yeah, but I no, I don't have a special question.
Okay.
No, there are so many things I have to try out. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. No, I
Good.
can't implement
But it's
all what
exciting,
we've done in the 8 weeks. So no.
No, no, no. I know that. I know that.
So, for
I
example, to find parts who can assist me, no, I didn't find yet. Maybe I can later. But
Yeah.
the parts I'm dealing now, these are these uh, uh, crying charts. So this wrapping. Yeah, okay. But
Yeah, but it's
I wrote
really good
something.
that you kind of make that switch that you can just talk to them. They don't need to answer, but you can just
Yeah,
talk to them.
that's an
And you
important
feel
step.
the difference, right?
Yes, I do.
That yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, when I woke up today, I felt absolutely great. So,
Mhm.
also, not when I woke, as when I drove to my work. So, because I just don't know, I felt insightful and I enjoyed the ride because yeah,
Mhm.
it's hard to explain. So, it was more like once you told about vibrations in general, yeah, and I felt like a music instrument who was taking vibration from the outside. So, but it's hard
Mhm.
to explain, yeah. But after 8 hours work, it was totally gone. I was so
Mhm.
tired. So, and then I thought about what you said today. Yeah, how all our programming is taking us away from our essence, and this is just uh, the best example in one day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's actually normal, and it's hard, because other people influence us.
yeah, they
Just
do.
like it's like you've seen these videos of, like, tuning
No,
forks
it's
and
just
whatever.
about making choices. I woke up
Yeah.
and I felt great, but when I do my job, then I don't have any choice. At least I think I have. So I do the tasks I'm told to do. So
Mhm.
yeah, doesn't feel comfortable not to have any choice. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is then you can choose, well, you can say like, okay, I'm choosing to do this for now. And I have the option of creating my own business. So then I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
to
yeah,
decide,
yeah. This is how I think. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Or I get to choose to see this as a bad thing, or I get to see this as a good thing. At least I have a job for now, and so on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course, of course. No, but what happened with me today? What happened with me today was not by will. So I
No,
felt
no,
great.
no. Like,
I felt great without effort, and then I felt bad without
yeah.
something bad happened. So it's just a roller coaster.
Hmm.
Mm.
I agree. I've also been on the roller coaster the last days. So
Mm.
sometimes life is just a roller coaster, and we just have
Yeah, yeah,
to roll with the roller coaster and wait for the wagon to stop again so we can get off. That also happens.
but yeah, just a side note, just a funny thing. But here I had 3 days off. Now it was a holiday, yeah,
Mhm.
and I relaxed very much and slept very much. It was okay. It was really relaxing, and it's. I really found out how the body reacts because once I was just in this state between dream and waking and in a bad story, and then I said to myself, oh, but this is just a part of me, an aspect of me, and then all of a sudden I got this.
Mhm.
Oh, and then I could see, oh, okay, something was waking up. So, and even my body was reacting strongly. So, it was, aha. Yeah. And in former days, I wouldn't have recognized it as something. So it was,
Mm.
so, and now I can put the things together. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun
So,
to talk about it. Hmm. But no, I don't have a special question. No. Oh,
all
it's
right.
all very good what we're doing here. But the next time is not on Friday, it's on the 20th, yeah, you say?
Um, so no, tomorrow we have practice.
Ah, sure, yeah, of course. I
And
forgot.
then I can be there on Friday if you have like any other questions or anything.
No,
And then
but
I
but
will have to see when we can do practice. Because I have the
I'm very
thing.
flexible.
So maybe we have to do it on Saturday.
Instead of
Oh
tomorrow,
no.
or I don't
Yeah.
understand. Yeah,
No, 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 no.
it's
So we
good.
will do tomorrow and we will do Friday. And then next week, oh no, but that's the I will let you know when we do next week, okay? I will look at it tomorrow for the
Yeah,
closing ceremony, right?
yes,
Or maybe yeah. Then also, so we do tomorrow and then Friday and then next week Friday. But I will have to let you know what time we can do.
it's all fine with me. So,
All right.
but what are you gonna practice tomorrow?
Oh, we're just gonna have like a practice session with Pasha and the energy flow, and just for the
Ah, yeah.
system to have an extra boost, you know.
Good. Yeah, just asking, yeah. Okay.
I think so.
I thought
Maybe there's something else.
no.
No, I
That's
just like I think we're just gonna make a session to integrate everything that we learn and practice everything that we learn and so on.
fine. I thought it was especially about decision making also. No, it was.
No, there really is the like decision making is just it's yeah, it's something you have to do. There is not really
Yeah,
like the only way to practice it is to do it consciously with small things.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, okay, I have to have breakfast. What are my choices? Why am I going to choose this? Am I going to drink coffee with sugar and cereal? Or am I going to eat eggs with a salad or whatever? Just
I have
like,
a question. I have
yeah.
a question. Have you seen the movie
No. Oh, and
Ah,
maybe
you
I
have
can
to
still
see it.
watch it today. It's the last day. Maybe I can still watch it now. No, like I literally haven't. It's like
You
it's been
will,
crazy, but
you
it's.
will like it. You will.
I will see if we have it still today, because today is the last day of like Disney
I could
that we
give you a
have.
link, but it's in German language, so it's
Yeah.
not
No, no,
good.
no, no, no.
Mm.
Okay, but then
But you
I
will like
will.
it
Yeah,
Be-
then I'm gonna
because
get off
in
this
in this
call and go to the bathroom.
yeah, just 2 minutes, yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there are so many. If you rewatch it, yeah, then you
Mhm.
will see so many small things, which are related to Inner Chadwick. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, he as an adult, he's eating healthy food, but
Mhm.
you see how he prepares it. He just smashes it together and puts it in the mixer and so on and so on. So he's not doing it with love, for example. Yeah.
Mhm.
And these are very small things. Or he goes to a psychiatrist to find help, and he goes there once and never again because he's so afraid of getting a diagnosis. And I'm not crazy, and so on. So. But later on, he finds out he needs help, and he asks a friend, a female, and not a close friend, just a lady he once met,
Mhm.
and he gets really good advice. And he said sorry for putting this load on you, and she said to him, never stop asking for help. Yeah. So and for example, this
Mhm.
small side notes and so makes the film good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I will go see if I still can watch Disney today. Then maybe I will do that just for tonight. Because
Fine.
I'm sure that tomorrow I won't be able to watch it anymore. Maybe I can still do it tonight.
Yeah. Just as a hint.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Then I
Thank
see
you
you
very
tomorrow.
much.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. 7 o'clock. I'm there.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.